Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to show you the latest purchase I'd made from the Becca range, which is the Becca Ombré Rouge eye palette. So basically it's a neutrals eye palette. Now I've had good experiences with the Becca range. I love the shimmering skin perfectors, which you will have heard me rave about on numerous occasions. My favourite kind of liquid highlighter primer. And recently I've been loving their under eye, I'm going to say it's a cream, I can't remember the exact name, I'll try and remember to put it in the info box below, but I like it a lot. So I haven't had any of their shadows or blushes or powders or anything like that, so when I saw this advertised on I think Space NK, or it might have actually been Sephora, I thought I'd indulge. Now, first problem is getting into it. I hate these palettes where you practically have to break a nail to get in, or you struggle with it so hard you end up sending your nail into one of the shadows. But once you get in, you can see it's a very nice neutral palette, a mixture of warms there and cooler tones. I tend towards cooler tones. I have to say, immediately I opened it, I was slightly disappointed in that I thought there were going to be, matte shades. I don't have a lot of matte eyeshadows. I'm attracted to glittery, shiny, satiny shadows, but I keep reading that they're a bad idea for my older hooded eyes and that I should wear more matte shades. So I'm trying to build up that side of my enormous collection and get rid of some of the shinies. Now, in fact, this one, I think you can probably see, I wouldn't describe really any of them as wholly matte. These two kind of the nearest, particularly that one, these are definitely satins. But never mind, I went ahead. Let's swatch for you with a reasonably light touch. That's by far the softest one there. And you can see there is a decent but not overwhelming payoff. I have to say this white one down here is a bit chalky to me, as is often the case, and difficult to see at all on. The others swatch quite well, although all a bit kind of reddish and bricky for my taste. So, you know, looking at them there, I appreciate that's kind of a quick swatch I've given you, but that one there is that top one, which kind of looks really purpley and burgundy in the pan. It's quite a nice kind of mid-tone chestnut, I'd call it. This one is definitely quite a warm, sandy, reddy brown tan. This one, that's giving a bit better colour definition. And then this one's easily the most buttery. It feels really, really nice to work with, but is quite shiny, a kind of pinky colour. Now, I've worn these maybe 3 times, trying various looks with this palette. I have to say, I'm not going to say I'm not impressed. I'm not overly sold on it. Basically, all the colours except that one, which definitely stands out on me, kind of blend into one. The wear time is okay, but not brilliant in terms of it not fading away and not creasing. But what I do find is that where I try to add kind of clear definition between the lid and graduating away to create a false crease, it all kind of blends into one and becomes a bit muddy without brilliant definition. I'm not sure, firstly, that there's the right colour range here if you're looking for the ability to create several different basic eyes from one palette, then in my opinion you're probably going to need to go to other palettes for, you know, a darker, more defined brown, for example, and definitely a much better pale shade than this one, which is a bit of a dud, to be honest. And equally, yeah, they're not kind of the most brilliant, interesting shades, but then I guess maybe you wouldn't pick this palette if that was what you were looking for. So, you know, I'm cautiously not in love with this palette, I have to say. How does it compare with others? It's difficult for me to say because this is very much a kind of basics palette, and I'm not great in getting the basics. I tend to get the fancy stuff. I will say I bought one of the Visart palettes, I'm going to say last year, when they were all the rage here on YouTube. And I was a good deal less impressed with that as well than a lot of people were. I didn't get the matte one, I got the Paris Nudes, and it didn't last with me. Recently, and I pulled this out to show you, to remind you, I did get the Dior Eye Reviver palette. What I didn't tell you is the kind of blurb with the Becca, that this supposedly has some magic ingredient that's great for your eyes as well. Here it is, green coffee oil, which helps awaken the eyes and smooth the lids with built-in priming effect, extending the wear of your shadow. That's a load of tosh. It really, you know, didn't wear as well as some of the high-end shadows I've got that don't have any magic ingredient in. But that made me think of this Eye Reviver palette, which a lot of people didn't like. I have quite enjoyed using, although it doesn't look as if I've used it a huge amount, does it? Looking at it, I promise you I have. This one has got, this is supposedly the eye priming colour. Finger's a bit dirty, I should have got a tissue, which you can see I've used the most. Much smoother, much more defined than the white one here. If I can get in again. I mean, it really is tough to struggle your way in. Let's compare those two. I mean, they're not quite the same shade. It's coming off a bit better now than it did before. Much prefer this one for brightening up the eye, which you have there. And then, I mean, again, this palette suffers from no mattes at all. But it seems to me to do the kind of shiny colours much better. Or maybe, you know, they're ones that appeal to me more. I much prefer the nuances there. But, I mean, no way could you describe that as remotely matte. And then you've got the eyeliner gel in the same palette. So in some respects, I think that's a more useful kind of everyday, boring, but basic eyes. And then, just by way of comparison, the holy grail of Tom Ford, yo-ho-ho. I have actually recorded a video today being negative about some Tom Ford products, so I don't always praise, but this is Cocoa Mirage, which I regard as the holy grail of basic palettes. Only 4 colours. Doesn't look to be huge colour differentiation there. They're all, well, that's a true matte there, and that's a true matte, and then a satin, and almost matte, almost satin. But these are just, oh, butter soft, so pigmented, giving you, you know, really great options there for a basic work appropriate eye that anyone could work with. If you're going to shell your money out on a basics palette, this, ladies, in my opinion, is far and away the one to get. I should give you the prices. I know these are £62, £63 now. The Becca's definitely a lot cheaper than that. I will look up what I paid for it and put it in the information box below. The Dior, I seem to think, was around the £40-50 mark, so not a whole lot cheaper than this. This is a better palette, although this is good. The Becca, I suspect, comes in the cheapest, but, you know, if you are looking to splash out, in my opinion, splashing out on something that you could use day in, day out is a great idea. So those are my thoughts on the Becca palette there. I'd be interested to hear if anyone else has got it and what they think about it. It's not a bad palette at all. It's nice. And it's not going to put me off Becca products, which, as I say, I rate very highly. But this particular one, it's not a miss, but it's not a real hit for me. It's definitely going to the back of the drawer or to someone else. So until next time, bye for now.